You're listening to the Intercoastal Podcast, part of the Destination Marketing Podcast Network. Welcome to the Intercoastal Podcast, where we explore all the stories, adventures, and culture that make the Lowcountry unforgettable. This is the place to find your Intercoastal. Thank you for joining us. Let's dive in. Joining us on today's episode is Leah McCarthy, the co-owner of Magnolia Cafe and Bakery in Beaufort. Welcome to the show, Leah.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you here. Kind of glad to go over your restaurant and kind of let visitors and locals know about Magnolia Cafe and what you guys have planned for it. So before we begin, could you tell us your Beaufort story and how you got to the area originally?
Absolutely. So in 1988, I moved to Beaufort County. I was only 13 years old. Started on Hilton Head Island, and that's where I attended school. But when I graduated from high school, I stayed around the area and I was very active in theater. And so I attended the University of South Carolina Beaufort campus. So I spent a lot of time in Beaufort just going back and forth, taking classes. And that's when I, would explore the area. Didn't know much about Beaufort, didn't spend a lot of time in Beaufort until about that time. And then when my husband and I got married, we had all of our children in Beaufort Memorial Hospital. We have 3 kids. And whenever we would go back and forth to doctor appointments, because our doctors were also in Beaufort, we would spend the day in Beaufort and take the time once the kids were born to take them to the park and go for lunch. And that's really how more of my time was spent in Beaufort and how I got to know the original Magnolia Bakery, Cafe, and Garden Gift Shop, which was their original name of the restaurant.
Yeah. How does it feel to grow up in the area and kind of see the change of not just the landscape, but just the growth of Beaufort, Hilton Head, and Bluffton, just the Lowcountry in general?
My gosh, it is exploding, isn't it? It's exciting because it means a lot more culture for us and restaurants and just that liveliness that you get when you bring a lot of people to a new area. Don't love the traffic, how long it takes me to get from point A to point B and the number of stoplights, at least in Bluffton. I love traveling to Beaufort because it just gives me that exhale out of the Bluffton traffic and over the bridges and the Lowcountry salt marsh. And it just gives me that time to get ready for the Beaufort town, which is still very quaint and hasn't quite been touched yet with all the craziness.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not big on traffic either. And sometimes it takes me a little going out of Beaufort to realize what traffic actually is.
Yeah.
So I'll get mad. It takes me longer than 15 minutes to get home, but I have to remember it could be worse. It could be Atlanta or LA traffic.
Yes, true.
So what inspired you and your husband to purchase the Magnolia Cafe when you said you used to come here and you used to go to the cafe before? What inspired that?
Well, I loved it. And it was my go-to Beaufort restaurant. And even if we spent the day in Beaufort with my mom, because she loved going over there, that would be where we would, grab lunch. We would do more lunch visits to Beaufort than dinner back in the day. But the inspiration really came when I saw that it had just become vacant. We've been in the restaurant business, which we might touch on, but we've been in the restaurant business for about 21 years now. So we started with a deli sandwich shop in Bluffton. And then when I saw that Magnolia's owners had shut it down, it just made me sad because it was such a quaint spot, the lovely view of the water, and it just held a lot of memories for me. So the longer it sat there, the more I got interested in it. And I just feel like, really God's time just put it in front of me one day. And, I talked to my husband about it and he's like, why not? Let's do it. We were ready for a new opportunity. We kind of get a little dangerous when we're bored and things are going, smoothly. We like to jazz it up a little bit and, develop new things and new ideas. So taking on Magnolia was something that was kind of the right place at the right time.
Yeah. And like you said, we will go in a little bit further about your other companies that you have owned in that process. But as a patron, how does it feel to own something that you used to come in all the time and sit and now it's your restaurant?
Well, I definitely wanted to be careful because I knew that the original spot was very special to Beaufort. And just like me, when you go into a place that it looks different, you kind of get a little nervous, is this the same spot?
Mm-hmm.
But being in there as the owner, it just, I don't know, it's very comfortable to me. It's not a space that even from day one, even though we did a lot of renovations aesthetically to the place,
Mm-hmm.
it still felt like the same quaint Magnolia Cafe and Bakery. We just wanted to, clean it up and spruce it up and add some lightness and brightness to the space. And it had a lot of retail, where the garden gifts came from.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of shelving covering the windows with, gifts for your garden and fountains and bird feeders, and there was a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
So getting that out, I don't miss that, and I don't think the patrons miss it, because when they walk in, they really like exhale and they're really excited about the calmness that the space, I feel like, delivers with the greens. Everyone comments on the the color of the green walls and just how tranquil it is in there. So it's a little crazy, though, to think that I've been going there as a patron for probably 18 years, I would imagine. And then to own it, I just want to respect what it was.
Yeah.
And I hope we did that.
Yeah. And then kind of give that same aspect of where you loved going to it so much, that same thing, pay it forward to other guests who want to come back and give that same feeling that you had when you were coming.
Yeah, 100%. We want it to be the place where if you're a visitor to Beaufort or seasonal to Beaufort, you think of us when you come back, but then be part of the Beaufort community as well as just, one of those go-to places you think of just to grab a cup of coffee and say hey to our barista, or, to meet your friends for lunch type thing.
And is this one of the first like venues or restaurants that you've purchased that you've been like a customer of that multiple times, or you've purchased other locations before that you frequent?
Yeah, no, this is the first. No. Oh, I totally take that back. So we don't have it anymore, which is why I had a temporary lapse of memory. But we did purchase our favorite pizza restaurant that was in Bluffton.
Mm-hmm.
And that was several years ago. It was called Monster Pizza. It's kind of still in people's hearts, I think, in Bluffton, because someone posted not that long ago on social media, hey, do you guys remember the pizza place that used to be here that served those extra large 30-inch pies? And I just love seeing how many people remembered Monster Pizza and would tell stories about when they would pick up this huge pizza and couldn't even fit it in their car. So, but we had that for probably about 4 or 5 years, and then we sold it to another pizza operator. But okay. So not the first that we've purchased a spot.
Yeah. Is this the first Beaufort location that you've purchased?
Yes. So we've been in Beaufort only with our catering company. Mm-hmm. So we did have an office and worked exclusively with the Beaufort Inn for several years with our catering operation out of Bluffton. But yeah, the very, very first one, kind of brick and mortar for sure.
Yeah. And then I know you discussed it a little bit further with the changes that you guys made. Is there any other changes as far as menu or items in the store?
Yeah, I think so. We did scale back the pastry side of things, the bakery side of things. We still offer them. Mm-hmm. We are bringing on, coming this Thursday, which I'm super excited about, a brand new chef who's actually a pastry trained chef.
Wow.
So I'm really excited to see what she's going to bring to the pastry case, just to kind of, change it out a little bit. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the menu, we do breakfast all day, and it's a lot lighter and fresher fare, such as like avocado toast and granola bowls. And we also have very savory breakfast bowl that's our number one seller, actually. Mm-hmm. The coffee shop portion of it is brand new. So we use all coffees and espressos from King Bean Coffee Roasters out of Charleston. Mm-hmm. So that's a brand new part of the business, is just getting people to know that you could just come in and grab a latte or one of our seasonal drinks. We do have tea that's made. It's a woman-owned company out of Savannah. She's a SCAD graduate, and she has a company called Hale, Hale
Mm-hmm.
tea. So we use all of her custom tea blends. And I would say overall the menu, we tried to keep, like, the crab cakes was really popular, the crab cake salad.
Mm-hmm.
So we still make crab cakes homemade. We use local shrimp. So our shrimp salad, chicken salad, things like that are very similar to what it was before. Soups, they did a lot of soups before.
Yeah.
But, you're going to find some sinful dishes, some beef that's been slow cooked and dripping in au jus sauce on a yummy Kaiser roll. But yet, if you don't really feel like being that naughty, you can get a light salad with some shrimp on it.
Well, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Definitely could have used that today.
Yeah.
I decided to skip lunch and was thinking, I was like, well, I want to eat something, but I don't want it to be too heavy. I want something healthy, something light. So that would have been perfect for me today. So I'm definitely going to have to try it.
Please do. We've got tons of very healthy, light, high protein bowls as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Like you said, you and your husband have operated other restaurants before. Is there anything about owning Magnolia Cafe that's been different than owning other restaurants or establishments?
Yeah, definitely. The restaurant that we have over in Bluffton is quick service, counter service. So people are in and out, grabbing their lunch. Sometimes we don't even have an opportunity to look up and say hello or thank you because they're ordering online and quickly grabbing their bag and going. So at Magnolia Cafe in Beaufort, we have more time to really interact with the guests because it's table service. So I don't want to say slower, that it takes a long time to get in and out, but it's definitely where you're going to sit, have your starter drink and then move into lunch and everything. So it's a lot different.
Yeah, and I can tell that, like, with those two different aspects, one is, well, let me grab and get back to work. And then where Magnolia, it gives visitors and locals an opportunity to kind of, like you said, exhale, breathe, kind of sit down and take in the environment, take in the restaurant aesthetics, and just sit and enjoy the food.
Agree. Yes, definitely.
So what is your personal favorite thing on the menu that you guys have added? And is there one dish you always recommend to somebody if they were going to eat at Magnolia?
I absolutely love our crab cakes. They're homemade. And we use jumbo lump crab. So our crab cake sandwich is delicious. And then if you don't want the bread, you can move into the crab cake salad that we have. I love our salads. So if I don't get the crab cake salad, I'm going for the pecan crusted chicken salad. So it's grilled chicken that we bread in this like crushed pecans and then grill it off and then put it on top of a salad. All of our dressings are homemade as well. So yeah, really, really yummy. Breakfast, I am a sweet person, but the avocado toast and our breakfast bowl are both savory and light. Mm-hmm. I'm more like the naughty side. I like some scrambled eggs and a cinnamon roll and things I probably shouldn't be eating. Or we do make homemade waffles and we have a chai whipped cream with fresh berries on top. So that's also my favorite.
Oh yeah, that sounds delicious. All of that. Yeah. And one other thing is that you guys hold a high tea. I know we discussed it when you stopped by the office. Do those things happen regularly, or what's the schedule look like for high tea?
Yeah, so high tea has been really popular. Our first ones we had Santa visit. So we did 2 high teas with Santa. They sold out so quick. And then a lot of people told us, there's just no place to go get a proper tea service. Mm-hmm. So especially since we have the most amazing tea blends in the area, we are now doing them monthly. So our high tea coming up, we have a gallon. We're also trying to theme them with this season. So February 15th is a Galentine's high tea. So, bring your loved one, no matter who that is. And they start at 3:30, end at 5. And you'll get tea service. If you want any of our specialty mimosas, you can add mimosa service. So we have 3 different tiers of our high tea. One is our standard tea that has your like one selection of tea and pastries. And then we move into where you can add soup and you can add beverages to it. And then after that, we have one in March. March 22nd is our spring high tea. So welcome spring. That'll be great because we'll be able to hopefully open up our outside waterfront patio space for that as well and have more seating. And then from there, we'll have an Easter tea in April. But what we like to do is just post everything to our social media and then our website, and then call for reservations.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea because not really many places around here do high tea. So I've heard for years that a lot of the women have wanted a place to do high tea, to go to and kind of relax and get with their girls and kind of just sip some tea and relax.
Yeah, it's been really, really well received. And I do want to mention, if anyone's listening and wants to do like their own high tea service with their friends, like for a group, we've done that before. We've had, I think she was turning 10 years old. So a little girl's high tea party. So the girls dressed up, they look so cute. They came in, and then we customize it for the kids. So instead of, let's say a salmon, little, a cucumber, we do little PB&Js and custom cookies and desserts. And if the kids don't want to drink tea, we have lemonade and hot cocoa, and that's been really well received as well. So from kid private service or adults, we can schedule that in.
Yeah, that's so cute and perfect for any age from young to older. It's definitely perfect.
It was fun because even the Santa tea,
No, you're fine.
We had people come that didn't even have kids. They just loved coming and enjoying and getting kind of ready and in the holiday spirit. So
yeah, and with it being cold out, people kind of want to just sip some tea and kind of warm up, and it gives people a reason to kind of get together and enjoy each other.
I agree. We need more face-to-face time in life with people.
Yes, I agree. This has been a great episode, Leah. Thanks for coming on the show. Could you let the audience know where Magnolia Cafe is located and where they can find you on social media?
Would love to. So our address is 703 Congress Street, and we have social media channel. The best place to find us would be on Instagram, and that's at Magnolia Cafe Beaufort. And then we do have a Facebook page, which also is Magnolia Cafe Beaufort. So, and then our website is magnoliabeaufort.com.
Great. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Intercoastal Podcast. We hope we've inspired you to find your intercoastal wherever your journey takes you. You can follow us on social media at visit_BeaufortSC on Instagram or at BeaufortSC on Facebook. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review, and share our podcast with others who love the Lowcountry. We'll talk to y'all next time. This has been another episode of the Intercoastal Podcast, hosted by Daquan Mickens and the team at Visit Beaufort Port Royal in the Sea Islands, produced by Relic.